I just couldn't bear to talk about it. I didn't want the pity party, and I didn't want people to look at me with that look in their eye.
I didn't tell anybody. I kept it to myself. That's the problem with Africans. And they like to hide things. Like me, I'm hiding these things. And sometimes I think I have to share it.
I'm from a community where we don't talk about sickness. We don't talk about that. I think there's a stigma of health, especially cancer. You know, it's frowned upon. We should be preying on it, and we shouldn't really be sharing it with others. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody outside of the house.
If you tell people your sickness, they will be gossiping you, and they will be looking at, oh, she got cancer. She will be dying.
It's about time we were open and a bit more supportive in our community. I'm not afraid to stand up and say, I had breast cancer.
So my husband, for example, he had a kidney infection. So it was quite easy for my extended family to talk about the fact that he had a kidney infection. But if I've had cancer, people found it quite difficult to speak about. I think historically, cancer is looked at something that people are going to die of. And people don't really understand what treatments are there and how much they have progressed in the years.
Treatment is effective once caught early, not 6 months down the line, but once caught early. It's effective. The funny thing is, breast cancer runs in my mum's side of the family. We live here in London and they live in Barbados. How is it I didn't know? Why does nobody share this?
African and Caribbean families aren't as great at doing that kind of thing because there is this facade that everything is okay, and people will ignore their symptoms if they have a fear it might be something that could possibly be frowned on by their own community. And people are dying because of it.
When I go to hospital to have my surgery, I don't go with anybody. For me, what I went through on my own, I don't want anyone to go through that.
It does impact your mental health. And you do need somebody who you can talk to. I was very, very blessed to have Macmillan Counselling. Don't shy away from the help that you can get from the NHS. The treatment that you can have, it can save your life. It can save your life.
There is a lot of mistrust and a lot of misinformation about conventional medicines. And so for a lot of people, it's really confusing.
I'm not going to sit here and say that the mistrust is not justified. Of course it is. You only have to look at your history books to see that, right? But we're not going to overcome the obstacles that we face by non-engagement.
Some of my people, they don't do the chemo because they don't trust the medicine. But I did not even have two minds not to do the chemo. When I was doing the treatment, I was not taking any other medication apart from what they were giving me. And look at me now, I'm cancer-free because they caught my cancer at a very early stage.
I'm on no medication for my leukemia. I'm on watch and wait. They treat symptoms as they occur because watching is at the moment far better than trying to give me chemotherapy, which could be destroying cells which don't need to be destroyed at this point. People with my type of leukemia can and have survived 20 years with little or no interventions. And I'm hoping that medical science would advance so much that they can decimate it.
I think faith has a massive impact on a diagnosis like cancer, because when your faith is so strong, you pray and you hope that God will take it away. But I believe that you can pray, but that prayer is for the doctors to help you.
The vicar or whoever's presiding does have a big say in a lot of people's lives, but you have to question how much does this person actually know about cancer?
I think there is a bit more openness now. For example, I went to the local Gurdwara and I did actually see some leaflets promoting cancer screening. They were actually really keen for someone to come in and actually talk about cancer.
God helps those who helps themselves. I am a Christian. And I believe that God has been with me in every step of my walk. But he has also helped me to help myself. Initially, when I was diagnosed, I found that access to the correct treatments, being able to engage with my care plan, all of these were systemic barriers that I had to overcome. Now, when you combine that with a culture that already doesn't speak about their experiences, that's horrific. And silence does not help. It kills. Because it affects everybody. And if it doesn't affect you, it will affect your children.